as some of you know who've been following the Aquarium Main channel for a while, I have an indoor koi pond off the sunroom on my living room. And every spring we get it all spruced up and everything, but this spring we're making some changes. In the filtration, we're changing the first chamber. We're going to make it a moving bed filter chamber, so I'm going to show that in this video. Also, the plants that I had couldn't handle the harsh winter, even being in a semi-closed room. So we have new plants. We have blue iris that we're growing up, and we're going to be planting those, as well as we're going to use the trash pump. I found another great use for the trash pump, cleaning out the koi pond. It works awesome. Stir everything up, put that guy in there, blows that water out like nobody's business. So we'll get the koi pond all ship shape, take a look at the koi, as well as I have a little video of the bamboo sharks breeding, which is something they do almost every night nowadays, and they've decimated the aquascape in Predator Bay, but they definitely are getting busy, that's for sure. And unfortunately, at the end of this video, I'm going to talk about something that's never happened to me in 40 years of fish keeping. I had a bad thing happen, and I mean, I guess it could happen to anyone at any time, but it finally happened to me after forever. I don't know how it could be prevented necessarily, but I'll talk to you guys about it. And just so you know, it affects the current Predator Bay and the new Predator Bay. So I'll go over all that, and we'll lay out how that's going to affect the videos. But also in this video, on a good note, we're back on the double 1200 builds, so we're going to show progress on that. And there's going to be a lot of progress on that soon once once I tell you about what happened with Predator Bay. And of course, and last but not least, the 600-gallon Asian jungle aquarium. The video where I just have, say, 10 to 15 minutes of just the fish without me there. The camera set up and ran for hours and hours in different positions. And I took all that footage and mushed it down to, say, 10 to 15 minutes of the most interesting stuff. Again, no interaction with the fish, with the human. There's no one there. They're not reacting to anything. They're doing their natural thing. It's pretty awesome. It'll just have a tiny little bit of me talking at the beginning, like 5 seconds, and then the rest of it will just be the aquarium and some ambient music to enjoy. It's very relaxing to watch. That's going to come out probably midweek right after this video. So 2 back-to-back, because I know I've been sparse lately. And like I said before, I will be doing that for every tank. I'll do that once a year, so we'll get a video of the fish swimming in the tanks without any interaction with humans once a year, just to keep tabs on the evolution of the aquariums. All right, let's jump into this pond build. So before I get started on Predator Bay 3000, it's time to do the clean out on the pond. We're going to do a little switch up too. So I was using the ceramic blocks in the filter down there, but I'm going to switch up to the K1 media, or actually this might be K3, and actually I found another use for the trash pump, because you can see all the muck that gets down in there. Once I turn the water on and try to suck this out using the old Ultra Zero, it's too much for it. But I'm thinking the trash pump might be just perfect with its capability for massive amounts of muck. So I'm going to go ahead and give this guy a try. All right, trash pump is down in there, so I'm going to go turn on the water supply. And what I'll do is I'll fill this up a couple times, get all of this muck pumped out in the yard. We'll get some clean filter pads over here, and then we'll get the sponges hooked back up. So I do run air in here, so once this is all cleaned out, it'll be all full of air turned over like that. And I just need to put something over here to keep the bio media from going through. And what we'll do is, so these are the air, basically just I pump air through those sponges, which makes that first chamber rolling, and then we'll have this media in there. So I'll get that cleaned out first, and then we'll get it converted over. And of course, we're going to reuse all of those bio blocks in the new saltwater sump for Predator Bay 3000. It's going to be the current sump is going to be a very similar setup to the current Predator Bay 1800. How that's been working really well with those blocks in darkness for denitrification, and then as well as the new estuary section I'm building for the mangroves and the protein skimmer for nutrient export. But yeah, let's get this water all cleaned up. Okay, so we have the most work done on the 1200 gallon over on this side, and we know that for the base we're using up some old wood, so it's a little bit different. But as we move to the other 1200 gallon build here, we're going to do the more standard build. You know, I have all the lumber in here, not using up any scraps, all new stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and build out this base, and we're gonna get it layered up with 2 layers of 1/2 inch plywood. And they could be 3/4 inch ply, or because we have some 1/2 inch to use up over there, we're gonna use 2 layers of 1/2 inch, so we'll have a 1 inch base. So we're gonna get that started. We're gonna get a little bit of framing done over here on the end where the wetland's gonna be, and we'll get it ready to start building up. Okay, so the trash pump did an awesome job of cleaning out the first chamber, and we have the K3 media in there. It's starting to get seasoned. You see it's starting to spin with the air bubbles. But the problem we are having is that, well, let me take you over here. This is the drip tube where normally it spreads out the water more evenly over those pads. But what's happening is these holes aren't big enough, or there's not enough of them. But the end result is it's restricting the water flow, and it's causing this chamber to rise up, not out of the container all the way, but too high for it to really be spinning the biomedia like it should. So we're going to take the drill here and widen out these holes, make them bigger, maybe add some more, but it basically creates water flow through there. And then we'll take out last year's pads and replace it with new pads for this year. Well, not for the whole year, but new pads for the beginning of the year. Okay, I've got the real thick, high quality pads taken out, and I'll take these out and clean them out. And in the meanwhile, added in new, that's actually quality pad as well, but we've added in some more of that. And this is the cheap stuff, but I like to start off the season with this. So I just sort of, with one roll of it, I can do four cleanings where I just rip that out and take all the muck with it and don't worry about cleaning it. And then once we get through the first part of the season where we clean up all the muck from the end of the year, then we switch back to the nicer quality pads. And you can see here, I've added a bunch of large holes to the drain pipe. So hopefully that is going to allow enough water to go through without creating back pressure over on the first chamber. So let me go ahead and get everything set up. So the lights are mostly out on the Predator Bay 2000, and what you're seeing right here is the male shark's in the front, and he's biting down on the fin of the female shark. You saw him just picked up and carried her around there, pushed her in the corner. And what he tries to do is he grabs her fin and he pulls her and tries to wedge her in a corner somewhere and entice her to breed. And he'll basically just keep working on her like that, just keep pulling on the fin, and he'll generally pick her up a few times and drag her around, and finally he'll get her flipped over, and they will mate. They've been doing it pretty frequently, most every evening, late at night like this, and I don't know, keeping tabs. If there's a shark egg one day, we'll see, but they've pretty much knocked over all the rock in Predator Bay 2000. Obviously the escape will be built stronger and in a different fashion at Predator Bay 3000 to accommodate these big beasts, but it is interesting to see the mating behavior, every night. Well, good news. Looks like the bigger holes did the trick. It's been running for an hour or so, and it's at the level it should be over on the right chamber, so good times. What I think I'm going to do now is well, the koi are doing a good job of stirring it up, but I'm going to stir it up as much as I can, and we're going to use the trash pump once again, and we're going to take this level down about halfway and then fill it back up with fresh water, and that combined with the new filter pads should do the trick and get this water clear over the next few days. Alright, so we've completed the framing for the base of the aquarium, and yeah, as always, there's a couple poles to deal with, so let's go ahead and start over here. So we have an additional supports around the pole, so we have plenty to tie into when we create the vertical sleeve like over here. And then of course we went ahead and ran full boards across to here. I actually ran out of the full boards, but I did have a lot of scrap, so I went ahead and used that up. I hate to waste wood. I like to save money, so these last 3 supports here, or is it 4? Yeah, it's 3. They're basically seamed in the middle and blocked up, so they are plenty strong, keeping in mind all of our force is going down, all the weight's pushing down. And then again, on the end where the pole is, blocked it up with some extra support so we can work around the pole. So now there will be the 1/2-inch press board, which is a sheet over there. I got a bunch of leftover, so we'll do a 1/2-inch layer of that, and then on top of that we'll do a 1/2 inch of the plywood, and that'll give us 1 inch of a foundation, and it'll be just like the other 1200 gallon over here. We did 1/2 inch of the press board and then 1/2 inch of the regular plywood, and the only thing exposed to the fiberglass and the epoxy is the regular plywood. And coincidentally, this type of material, it actually shines. It's horrible at shear strength, but it's great at compressive. So a lot of weight just pushing straight down on it, and that is exactly how we're using it here. And since there's a bunch of leftover over here, we get it all. Well, two things. First, we use it up and get our money's worth out of it, but we also starting to clean up the room, because one thing I'm trying to do here is get the annex all cleaned up. So now that we have warm weather, as soon as I'm done with this material, I'm going to clean all this up and move this outside so we can get it all nice and cleaned up, and then of course we'll get this wood out of the way to really start to open it up, and I'll be able to show you, a better idea of what the room's going to look like when all the tanks are done, and what the view is going to look like specifically of, like, say, the 4,500 gallon and whatnot. I knew there was a reason I took the time to clean those filters. Water is looking nice. All the fish coming out. Springtime in the koi pond. Man, Sagi's getting big. But yeah, again, not 100% clear, but a couple days makes a huge difference from zero visibility, and you got fish down at the bottom there, so they're 3 feet down, and you can see them clearly, but I can just see a little bit of sediment in the koi pond, but it is looking good. Very happy with the modification of the filter, turning that first section into a moving bed. It's working well, and as far as the pads and changing the pads, that's all normal every year. Basically, this pond gives me work 1 week a year, and the rest of the time it is pure enjoyment. Well, these guys, they know that when I come over here, they're getting fed soon, so they are looking eager. All right. Let's go ahead and give them the feeding. So I gotta tell you, it is very distracting when you're trying to work on the double 1200s and you just keep looking over at these beasts. Especially the albino reds, they put on a lot of size. I don't know, I almost want to say they've almost doubled in size since they were put in there. So they are looking awesome. Alright, enough of the 4500, let's focus on the other 1200 gallon build here. So the top layer of the floor is done, and yes, once again, I went ahead and used up scrap. All those seams, of course, will be filled, and there'll be multiple layers of fiberglass over it, so no worries there. And as you can see, we've cleared up a lot of wood out of there, which is nice. So you can see I'm starting to frame out now the bottom plate. So we're going to have 2x6 in the front, 2x4 everywhere else. And then of course this side over here is going to be our wetland. So our wetlands are on both ends of the tanks, and if you can sort of imagine the plants growing out of the top of the wetland here and the top of the wetland there into this open area, which is going to be the best viewing spot in the room. It's going to be pretty awesome, and then eventually the 600-gallon Nano will be over here, so ooh, the spot is going to be sweet. So this is one of those times where keeping my promise with always showing you guys the good and the bad. This is one of the bad things. This is kind of a story, I guess, at this point, but I will show you in the next video some of the aftermath of it, but as much as I can, you know, some of it you really can't. But for 40 years of fish keeping, I never had this happen, and it's pretty bizarre. So the situation was, you know, with my sharks and rays and groupers, I feed them marine seafood like squid and shrimp and chopped fish and octopus, those types of things. So I buy that from usually from Asian grocery stores in the area. They have the best price. Normally most of that comes packaged, you know, in like a package with printing on it and everything, but they also do put stuff sort of like an unmarked bag, and they put it out there they chop it up in the back or do whatever they do, put it in the bag and freeze it, put it out there for sale. So for a long time they haven't had these yellowfin bluefish that the groupers, they love them. So like the groupers, they'll eat the shrimp and they'll eat the squid, but they really seem to like any type of small fish. So they haven't had the type of fish they all really like a lot for quite some time. I don't know why. Even tried multiple stores, none of them had it in stock. Used to be in stock for years, all the time. And all of a sudden it wasn't. Well, I went to the store and wow, they had those. They didn't have the same yellowfin bluefish, but they had shiners. So I was like, or I'm sorry, silver sides. They had silver sides. And I was so excited because I know those guys love silver sides. And I usually don't buy them from Akari or whatever because they're super expensive from the commercial fish food guys. If you buy them in those flat packs, you know, when you're feeding big fish, you're like, one of my sharks could eat a whole 16-ounce flat pack, no problem, in one sitting. So I have to buy things in bulk in other places. So at any rate, I was excited. I bought a bunch of packages of it. Again, the packages weren't marked. They were just plastic bags with a bunch of frozen silver sides in them. So I brought them home and you know, put them in my freezer, and then came time to feed the fish. So threw them in there, you know, thawed them out. Didn't notice any problems with them, anything like that. Put the silver sides in there. The groupers immediately went for them, and then after like 30 seconds, they like barfed it out. And I was surprised because they usually love that. And the sharks and the rays, they ate them. And I was, you know, concerned like with what I saw from the groupers, and the groupers didn't go back for any more. They just, you know, whatever, didn't like what they were tasting. And again, it didn't smell weird. It didn't visually look like there was any problem with it. So at any rate, the ones that groupers barfed off, nobody went and got them, so I cleaned them out. But the other sharks and rays, they ate up everything, you know, and they didn't seem any, like there was any problems. Well, the next day, I come downstairs and the ray and the horn shark and the coral cat shark, they're all just laying there, just in different spots, very pale white, all of them, and just sitting there. And the bamboo sharks were just also sitting there, but the bamboo sharks were obviously breathing. You could see them breathing. The ray, the stingray, the coral cat shark, and the horn shark, there was no movement from their gills. So I went in there and was, you know, trying to grab them, see what the hell was going on, and they're dead. 2 sharks, 1 ray, just dead. And then the groupers were fine, and the bamboo sharks for the next, I don't know, probably 8-9 days, they weren't themselves. They just laid around, didn't want to eat, you know, not themselves. But they've come all the way back. It's been a couple weeks now since this happened, and they are 100%. They're, you know, breeding every night, eating anything I put in there, you know, all that kind of stuff, back 100%. So something obviously was wrong with those silver sides. I think because the bamboo sharks are so big, you know, they're pushing like 4.5 feet long. There's just so much more mass to them that I think whatever was wrong with them, they were able to overcome it, versus the much smaller sharks in the ray. It killed them. I can't even honestly imagine, you know, what the heck happened. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I mean, I guess I was thinking about it, because obviously when something like that happens, first thing is like, what could I have done to prevent this? But I don't know what you can do. I mean, if you order food, you know, commercial food, or you get food from the grocery store, and if there's something wrong with it and you can't smell it or see it, you know, I'm not going to taste that food. So it's like, how would I know, you know? And, you know, it seems like something that could happen, you know, and maybe I'm just lucky it's never happened to me, but it definitely shook me up, because it scares you. It's like, oh my God, I mean, I'm buying food for human consumption from a grocery store and putting it in for my fish, and it killed them, you know. It's insane, you know. It's very frustrating. That's why I put this at the end of the video. I know the casual viewer, you know, probably doesn't want to see this or whatever, but it's real. It's what happened, you know, and it effing sucks. And, you know, I don't usually curse in videos or anything, but it definitely shook me. It definitely shook me. I mean, especially that 7, 8, 9 days that the bamboos, where I wasn't sure, you know, with them. I mean, it was a scary time. And even now, I mean, I don't know exactly. Oh, I mean, the only thing I can think of is I'll stay away from any of the packaged stuff where they've done in the back, and just stick with the, you know, the commercial stuff, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it just feels like something that could happen at any time. And I don't even. This is the problem. Is I don't even know. Was there a chemical in there? Was it spoiled somehow? Because again, it didn't smell or anything. Like, I don't even exactly know what went wrong. I just know the anecdotal evidence that I observed. You know, so. So at any rate, so now Predator Bay has, the current Predator Bay has 2 bamboo sharks and 2 groupers. So that's the current stock, and the bamboos are constantly ringing with each other. They've knocked down all the rocks. I'm going to show that in the next video, give an update on it just so you can see. But it does affect so the new Predator Bay 3000, there's going to be about a 2-week hold on that, because I am doing some construction work upstairs, some remodeling to a bathroom, laundry room area upstairs that's over top of that aquarium. So I need to do a bunch of plumbing changes and everything down there. I need that space to be open and everything to be able to do that. So, and I have to finish that first. So it's going to be put back. But good news is the 1,200 gallons, the double 12s. I'll be working full bore on these guys, and we'll get them cranking. So a little bit of a hold on Predator Bay 3000, but the 1,200 gallon builds here are speeding up. So yeah, sorry for the downer at the end of the video, and probably unless you're a diehard, you haven't even watched this far anyways. But the next video will be on the 1,200 gallon builds, and I'll show you, you know, Predator. We'll take a look at Predator Bay. Take a quick look at the grow outs. They put on a lot of size recently, and yeah, we'll get on to better things. Also, we have the 600 gallon Asian jungle video coming out, the one where it's just the fish and ambient music, and I'm not there, so the fish aren't, you know, they're acting normal because there's no human present. They don't think they're getting fed or anything. So that's a pretty cool one. I watched it, and it is very relaxing. Like something like at work, if I take a break, you know, lean back, drink some tea, and just watch those guys. It's pretty awesome. It's also awesome, like on a big screen too, big TV. So pretty cool. And I'll be doing that for all the tanks. So once a year, then we can see the evolution of the tanks. As always, thanks for watching. Sorry for the bummer ending of the video here, and I'll see you guys soon.